talk about the state of the NBA and Steph Curry's contribution to the state of the NBA versus LeBron James's contribution to the state of the NBA. Now, we're going to watch a clip today from YouTube that is going to highlight the differences between Steph and LeBron's legacies. Personally, I feel like Steph Curry has impacted the game. Steph Curry has impacted the game more than LeBron James has. Just personally, I believe that. The style of play that is most common in the NBA today is based on what Stephen Curry was able to innovate, and that is the high volume three-point offense. Now, of course, people shot three-pointers before Steph Curry, but the volume of three-pointers before Steph Curry was nowhere near this level. Reggie Miller only dreamed about shooting this many three-point shots. And so we're now in a position where, pardon me, folks, I lost my camera. I'll go ahead and refresh that. But we're now in a position where most of the league is shooting mostly three-point shots. I live in Portland. They shoot a lot of, I've been to games, they shot 53, 54 three-point shots. Now, the problem is this, in my opinion, before we react to this Odd Couple video. If I'm paying to go to this game or I'm paying to watch it on TV and you're primarily shooting three-point shots, you're only expected to hit 40% of those shots to be considered efficient. So you're expected to miss 60% of the majority of shots that you're taking. And then your two-point success is really only going to be about 50%, perhaps a little higher, but shooting averages around the NBA team-wise are hovering around 50%. We don't get the level of efficiency that we used to get out of the mid-range and the post game. And it's affected the game negatively, in my opinion. That's what makes it less watchable, is that particular paradigm. But let's take a look at the Odd Couple with Rob Parker and Kelvin Washington, one of my very favorite podcasts here on YouTube, and listen to what these guys had to say.
Two NBA players that are historically played very hard are LeBron James and Steph Curry.
LeBron James.
They were supposed to square off on Saturday night on prime time on ABC. Problem is, Steph's still dealing with the knee injury. Lakers roll by 30. That's not the story. The story is that before that game, on Friday afternoon, Steve Kerr was on the radio in the Bay talking to a friend of ours, Mark Willard. Shout out to Mark Willard.
Shout out to Sam in San Francisco. Did
That's
you guys
right.
see it?
That's why I did see Mark Willard.
Shout out to
my
Mark.
old partner
He
when
worked
I
with
first
everybody
started here.
here.
We
We love
literally
Mark.
had, I've done shows with him, Mark. Yes.
Legitimate friend of the show. So Kerr was on Willard's radio show, 98.7 The Game, and Willard asked Kerr, tell us, in your opinion, how you think the game has changed, or how these two specifically have changed the game of basketball in their 20 years or so in the NBA. Here's Kerr's response. Take a listen.
Steph has changed the game dramatically with the shooting. For all the reasons we know. I don't know that LeBron has changed the game as much as Steph, but he sort of took the mantle from, Kobe and Michael Jordan, that guy who is just head and shoulders above everybody athletically, but he's taken it to a new level with the versatility in his game. There's just never been a player like him.
You want to go? Or you want me to go?
Go ahead.
This is one of those Steve Kerr is wrong. Steve Kerr is right. Here's what I mean. If we're talking just the actual X's and O's, I will absolutely say Steph Curry has changed the game of basketball. Have you seen a court? Any court? I coached my daughter's YMCA basketball a year or so ago. And what do I see? Little kids jacking up half-court shots. Everybody shooting three. Literally, as I just said that, two different games going on over here. Two different guys shooting threes. Steph Curry changed the game and got guys that take bad shots that they really shouldn't because, Steph alone with analytics say 3 is better than 2 and I should shoot this and blah, blah, blah. So absolutely Steph Curry is changing in that regard.
Look, folks, let me add. Analytics is not wrong. It's not. 40% of a 3 is 1.2 points. You need 60% at 2 to achieve 1.2 points. Fine. That's what centers, power forwards, and mid-range specialists are for. Now, take their true shooting percentage into account because those guys get to the stripe a whole lot more than three-point shooters. So really, we should be looking at true shooting. We really should, as opposed to all-out three-pointer. But the focus right now in basketball, because of Steph Curry, is the three.
Say LeBron changed it is more so on the court and off the court and larger things. I'll explain what I mean. LeBron brought in the player empowerment movement to, for better, for worse, whether you like it, you love it. LeBron started the I'm going to do what's best for me. I'm going to do this. Let's team up. People don't like it, but that's what happened. LeBron had changed the game in that he was become very, very vocal about things that a superstar at that point lately we started to have where they didn't say anything. And he became very vocal. He was talking about a lot of social justice issues. In fact, having issues with our current president. The first...
No, we're not going to give the social activist badge to Kelvin's a fanboy. He's from that generation. They don't know the difference between an activist and somebody who wears a hoodie or makes a one-off comment. What did LeBron James do when he was asked about it? Alrighty then. An activist would have stood on 10 toes. LeBron James went to doing that Neo in the Matrix thing, dodging. Let's be honest.
Administration going back and forth. So LeBron became very vocal, and you started to see guys right up under him start to speak out, including a Steph Curry, speaking out from time to time. So I believe LeBron in a larger scale changed things for the bigger player, the more independence for the player, the more beneficial things for the players in the league and as a whole. The actual game play, I do agree that Steph Curry is changing more because everybody can't walk around, Rob, 6'7", 6'8", 6'9", 240, 50, 60, best jumper, fastest dude in the league, strong, is top 5 strong dude in the league. That's a freak of nature. But what I can do is fire up some shots. What I can do is dribble, and then shoot. What I can do, come off some screens and shoot. And that was what Steph Curry enabled everybody to do. In college, as we watch, another TV has college on, high school, down to just pickup games. People are shooting shots that they never would have before. Those shots would have, if you played ball back in my day, you would have been on the bench.
Okay, Kelvin, but that's really not the point. Obviously, that's a coaching issue where if my players are shooting ridiculous shots of any kind, I'm going to stop them. I'm going to coach them up to not shoot ridiculous shots of it. Again, Kelvin's a fanboy. He's from the generation that likes to make excuses and soften. I'm going to lay down the truth. Steph Curry has made basketball difficult for most people to watch because of the three ball outside of Steph Curry. And then you take the most exciting players in the game and they're not quite Steph in terms of what they're able to do with that three ball. Although some of them, in terms of percentage, get close. Steph takes a higher degree of difficulty and makes a higher degree of difficulty than any of the best three-point don't have the level of volume that Steph does, or they wouldn't, to be honest. They probably wouldn't be. But the game has evolved, and there are guys out there who shoot 40%. There are. But if you turn Steph Curry into a set shooter, a wait for the ball, catch and shoot guy, he'd probably shoot 60%. Steph's running around screens, doing all kind of play actions that the average three-point shooter is not, and that's what makes Steph Steph. LeBron, as he said, is just a physical specimen. LeBron really hasn't developed his game that much since his rookie season. LeBron's shooting 31% from, as we speak, this season, 31% from three. And what is LeBron the best at in basketball? What is his signature? What's he the best at? PR? Publicity? Help me out here, folks. What is LeBron the best at in basketball? I don't see it. I don't see how LeBron changed basketball outside of maybe making free agency a little bit more easygoing.
The bad shot, absolutely Steph Curry changed the game in that one.
But he changed the game in a bad way. And people can talk about LeBron and player empowerment and some of the other stuff that he was involved in and whatnot that happened. He partly wrecked the All-Star game by not taking part in it and kind of downplaying it, and people followed his lead, and there's other stuff.
Well, little buster.
But Steph Curry changed the game for the worse. Like, Steph Curry has a stain on the game, and I don't care, because part of what you talked about, he was taking ridiculous shots that shouldn't have been taken. Under most circumstances, coaches would have pulled guys out of games, just heaving up three-quarter shots, half-court shots, ridiculous shots in moments. And not only did those things be bad, other players who had no business taking those threes also decided.
That's what made it bad.
Right. But because he was making them. And if Steph Curry had missed some of those early on, they probably could have corralled him in and said, dude, what are you doing? Like Steph Curry.
All right, the only other person who takes ridiculous deep shots on the regular is Damian Lillard, because Damian Lillard can also take and make those ridiculous deep shots. What are they talking about? We just saw Luka Doncic run himself off from a 26-footer, take a dribble, hezzy, and have to pass the rock because he thought he was too deep to shoot a game winner from 26 feet. What are you guys talking about?
You can talk about all those big shots. That dipsy doodle behind the back pass in the
finals.
In the finals was like
threw the trophy out of bounds.
Dipsy
am I
doodle.
right?
They made a meme, and instead of the ball, it was the trophy.
I mean, like that was the most ridiculous thing I'd ever in a big game like that. He's doing up to Klay Thompson, right? That went out of bounds. But my point is, Mark Willard, I would have said, had Steve Kerr said that. But you mean in a negative way, in a bad way, he wrecked the NBA. That's where we are. All the threes. He wrecked the game, the All-Star game. Steph Curry's mark on the league isn't the greatest shooter of all times.
It is.
It's the greatest wrecker of all time. He wrecked the NBA. He left it for ruin. That's where we are.
See, but this is where I disagree.
Nah. LeBron James wrecked the NBA with his lack of participation in All-Star games, his lack of participation in the dunk contest, his constant self-aggrandizing. Steph Curry evolutionized basketball from the terms that he caused the three-pointer to be emphasized. Now, this is a trend. Okay, it's not necessarily here to stay. You can see that the centers are already starting to dominate again. Big men are starting to dominate again. Jokic, Giannis, Alperen Sengun is a name to watch for. Donovan Clingan here in Portland is a name to watch for. But bigs definitely have their place in this game, and they're dominant again in a large way. If Joel Embiid wasn't so janky, we'd be talking about him, okay? And it's not just a big who can shoot from three. It's a big who has posts and who has playmaking abilities. Victor Wembanyama, for example. All right, he's no three-point expert, but he's going to be the MVP for years. So I don't agree that Steph Curry ruined the NBA. If anybody did it, it's LeBron James. And all you have to do is look at the NBA's TV ratings after Michael Jordan retired. They dipped dramatically, then they plateaued. They peaked briefly at Kobe a little bit, and then they stayed flat after Kobe. LeBron has not recovered TV ratings for the NBA at all, and neither has Stephen Curry. And those two men have led the NBA over the last 20 years, and there is no disputing who's led the NBA over the last 2 years. So if the NBA is in bad position and Steph has evolutionized basketball and has everybody imitating him, I would say LeBron James is more likely the person responsible for the downfall of the NBA as it currently stands. Of course, I'm a world-renowned Bron hater, a professional Bron hater. If you don't know that about me, now you know, all right? I have fun with it. Don't take it seriously. I'm a Bron hater, colloquial. I spend money to watch the man play basketball. Just have fun, all right? Everything ain't that serious. You need to get away and you need to relax, especially at a time like this. Welcome to Reaction Nation. I'm your man, Zen Master. Make sure you hit the super chat, hit the like button, share this live. Share. That is the key to all this, is community. Make sure you leave comments. I don't have a comment viewer up right now, to be honest with you. I'm just going to try to produce the highest quality show that I can and look for comments on the reruns and premieres. I don't want to be distracted as we're going through today's topics, but let's spin the clip on Parker and Washington.
With that, he's magical at it. He makes these shots. We sit up here and marvel at it. He's the first guy that shoots 75-footers that I stopped from going to the restroom to wait before the buzzer rings out. 2-1. Okay, he missed it. Like, he's the only player I've ever did that for. So he's been marvelous. He's been arguably the most entertaining player of the last 15, 20 years. And so I give him credit for that. The issue is people are lazy, and so they just say, oh, well, this is working for him and working for the Warriors, I'm doing. What they didn't see was you have one of the greatest shooters of all time, if not the greatest. You have one of the other greatest shooters of all time, Klay Thompson, and you have a world-class team.
Everybody's great, huh?
Right. Well, shooting the ball, they are. And you have a team that was great at other things, which is what made them win so many games, 73 games, win championship. They were great. They were always top, what was it, Rob G? Always top 2-3 defensively. They were always top 2, 3 in assists because they've cut backdoor cuts. So we focus on just the threes, not realizing this team is actually playing good basketball. It's just they have 2 of the best shooters, and then 3 once KD came, of all time. You shouldn't do that. Everybody can't do that. I can't do what you can do. You can't do what I can do. And everybody has their thing. So the idea that everybody just believed, well, Steph Curry shoot threes, I guess we should shoot threes. What analytics say, and it became lazy. And guys, I'm watching this Wizard Rocket. They guys just chucking up threes. And so I, in essence, blame him for being so great. He was so great, so efficient, so proficient that everybody was like, well, I can do it too. No, you can't.
No,
but
that's not Steph's fault. That's you losers' fault. Right? That's your fault. There's other ways. There's multiple ways to win in basketball. A great team is the only way, really, to win in basketball. You can have the highest individual talent in the land. If your team doesn't perform like a team, can't stop nobody from scoring, what does it matter how good you are? Ask James Harden.
Was his success. I hear what you're saying, but it ruined the game. And his success,
in an indirect way, he ruined
the
shots.
NBA. He ruined the NBA. And the worst part is he can never make a big shot in a big moment. That's the worst part of it. But he still ruined the league.
It's the analytics to me. It's easy to say Steph. It's analytics went to Steph and said, see, look what he's doing. Analytically, it says if you shoot this and you shoot, shut up. Analytics ruined NFL. We and you have talked about that. What do you need to run back? Just pass the ball.
Thank God they fixed baseball with the home runs and the strikeouts.
Or you just go for it. Because technically, at least if you get a home run this time, it's better than hitting a ground ball.
Blaming analytics is lazy as well. I explained the analytics to you behind 2s versus 3s. It's as simple as 40% from 3 is 1.2 points per shot. You need 60% from 2 to get 1.2 points per shot. But if we look at true shooting, and you're a 2-point shooter and you can get to the stripe and make 3-point plays as often as somebody shooting 3s makes 3s, you're even more valuable. That's what made the mid-range game and the attack game so freaking valuable. You know who knows that? Denny Avia. You know who else knows that? Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander is not out here chucking 3s infinitely. He plays his midi. He drives. In fact, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander's favorite spot, I can tell you, is the left elbow. He's trying to go there every chance he gets. If he can't blow by you, he'll take a 3 if he has to, but he ain't worried about it. He goes to his highest point of efficiency, where he knows he can get fouled. The smart ones do it, man. Damian Lillard, before they changed the rules on him and Harden, Damian Lillard and James Harden were the best 2 foul hunters in the NBA. And both of them were good 3-point shooters while they were at it. I hate excuses, folks. I absolutely hate it. Don't like them. But we got more for you today. We're going to